What's up, all you Minties? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and join me today for an overview of the Superman The Last Son Deluxe Edition from DC Comics. So, let's get started. And welcome back, everybody. Before getting started, I did want to say that this is not an advanced look at. We've already had this book released a couple of weeks ago, and as a matter of fact, my wife is going to be doing an in-depth, spoiler-filled review of this particular deluxe edition here in the what the heck? Uncanny Omar Talk Pretty one day. Next week, I think, is when she's gonna do it, because it got voted. It outvoted Spider-Man during the spring of Spider-Man, but anyway, that's the book that you all chose for her to review. This is gonna be spoiler-free, so I am gonna be talking about some things in the basic plot line of the book, but not go into detail. This is a book that I have been looking forward to a lot because the story means so much to me. Richard Donner, that's right, the guy that directed Superman, the original Superman in 1978, not the original movie, or the original series, but my Superman that I grew up with, Superman 1 and 2, co-wrote this with Geoff Johns. Then you had Adam Kubert on artwork. So let's look at it really quick. We're going to look at everything. We're going to look at the spine here. And then the back of the book. Who is the true last son of Krypton? The book retails for $49.99 and has 288 pages. Now, this is an oversized hardcover. It is a deluxe edition, meaning that it's taller than your standard size trade paperbacks, and, so weird, but also taller than your standard size hardcovers. A little bit longer. So it's the dimensions of an omnibus. Just, of course, not as wide. And yes, I will be doing an advanced look at the Annihilation Conquest new printing. I just got this. Now, the stories have been previously released before. They've been released in trade paperback format and in standard edition format, hardcover. As a matter of fact, that's how I own them. I've always loved this cover. I kind of wish they hadn't used this glossy finish and just had this flat matte finish to it. I think to me it looks better. It looks like it's old. Papyrus old. Maybe not that old. But let's look at it under the dust jacket. So you have images here from inside of the book. But let's go ahead and get this opened and talk a little bit about the story. Oh, that's beautiful. This is an image from annual number 11. I think this is Phil Jimenez. The Fortress of Solitude. Superman The Last Son Deluxe Edition. I was kind of upset and both excited when this was announced because I've wanted an omnibus of the Geoff Johns era of Superman all the way to New Krypton. But they went the deluxe edition way. Now, one thing to clarify, though, is that this was solicited to have the Brainiac story instead of the Escape from Bizarro World story. But the solicitation was wrong. And we'll talk a little bit about that here in a second. But yes, the writers, Geoff Johns and Richard Donner, holy crap, two of my favorite creators. Adam Kubert, Eric Powell, Arthur Adams, these are all the people that do the annuals in here. And then you have Dave Stewart and Edgar Delgado on colors. Those are the main colorists. The table of contents here. There's a wonderful, wonderful, touching introduction here by Mark McClure, who played the Jimmy Olsen in the Richard Donner Superman movie. So here we go with Superman The Last Son. Like I said, I'll stay away from spoilers because even though this story is, man, my goodness, like about 15 years old, some people haven't read it. So this takes place after Infinite Crisis. It takes place in the what is known as the 1 year later era of Superman. We have this kid that has come to Metropolis, and he's got superpowers. He is probably of Kryptonian descent. So Clark and Lois decide to, take him under his wing. And who he's related to, I will let you find out all that on your own. The important thing, though, like I was talking about, that this was originally solicited as skipping the Bizarro storyline, is it does contain it. So this collects Action Comics 844 to 846, 851, and 855 to 857. And then, of course, annual number 10 and 11. Now, you're probably wondering, wait, this is missing a lot of content. Well, there was a lot of delays with this particular story, the Last Son storyline. As a matter of fact, I think it had to do with Adam Kubert and somebody in his family being sick, if I'm not mistaken. And he kind of had to take a break for a while, but the team wanted to stay together, So they wrapped up the story in the annual. In between this is when you get like the Fabian Nicieza story, the Dwayne McDuffie story, and the Kurt Busiek storylines, like 321 Action, all those stories, which have been collected in trade paperbacks. And when I do an actual Superman reading order, whenever the patrons vote for that, I'll be talking about where all that fits in and how to best read it. But let's skip some pages here. And there we go. So when we get to the 4th chapter, you're probably wondering, wait, is this going to be like the original release where the 4th chapter, this is really cool, this is from the original printing, came with 3D glasses, so even the reprint in the standard edition and in the trade paperback had the 3D in it. And we've had 3D in omnibus format before with, what was it, Final Crisis. But, yeah. This was all in 3D, where you get your 3D glasses. As you can tell, I use that quite often. Not really. So, honestly, I was okay with the change. Yes, it's not in 3D format. They just took out the 3D option and gave you the artwork like this. So, you know, to me it wasn't that big of a deal because I never really used the 3D. Cool little gimmick, but I didn't have to have it in this format. So, for those that have been wondering, is it in 3D? It is not. So let's skip a little bit here as the story wraps up and Superman has to take down this villain's unknown. I will leave it at that and where that storyline wraps up. And then we get the story of Escape from Bizarro World, where Bizarro comes here to Earth and kidnaps Pa Kent. And now Superman has to travel to Bizarro World, where he meets the Bizarro version of like the Justice League and all these characters that we're familiar with. It's a fun little story, again, written by Richard Donner and Jeff Johns, this time drawn by Eric Powell, who's the creator behind The Goon. So, let's keep going. Oh, yes, the annual. Let me see. Just in case, I am definitely censoring that final page of Escape from Bizarro World, but let's look at the annual number 11 here. This is really nice because it has a lot of talent. We have Arthur Adams with the many deaths of Superman. Pretty much it's just Lex Luthor daydreaming. And then we have Who is Clark Kent's Big Brother. That's kind of a spoiler, so I will leave that for you to find out. The Criminals of Krypton, drawn by Rag Morales, if I'm not mistaken. There is a 2-page Joe Kubert. And as a matter of fact, Joe Kubert inks Adam Kubert's cover for this annual. A Gary Frank story here. The Phil Jimenez Fortress of Solitude that we looked at the beginning, and then Superman's Top 10 Most Wanted. I think that is by Tony S. Daniel, and then Stefan Rao is the artist back here. Yeah, and then we get some covers. Andy Kubert supplying variants, and then love this stuff, the sketchbook. Now, as you can probably tell, the pages are this glossy page paper that we're honestly, when I was flipping through here, feels really thin compared to some of the glossy paper that DC had been using for a while. I mean, the book is 288 pages, and there's the biography, and then the back. I kind of wish they had used this type of paper stock, because it has this gritty look to it. Like I said, like this cover. I love this cover, and I've upgraded to this, and now I can get rid of this, but it's going to be hard to say goodbye to this cover. I don't know. Something about it just makes it stand out. And I kind of wish they had used this instead of this glossy paper. But the glossy paper, as I was saying, feels a little, I don't know, just really thin compared to what I'm used to from DC. So I'm not sure if you can tell, but you can see the artwork on the opposite page. And you know that's something that I'm really picky about. I pointed it out with the Defenders Omnibus. So here's a DC book that has... It's not quite that thin, but it is thin. Thinner than what I'm used to. But as far as the binding, it is sewn binding, even though it's got a lot of glue down there. But it doesn't really affect it at all. Here's a couple spread pages. Let's look at a couple of more. Here's one towards the middle. Yeah, just a little bit of gutter loss, but I don't think it's that much at all. And then towards the end here. So here you can tell just a little bit of gutter loss right there with the statue. So, not very much. but it is there. For those of you wondering how they managed to put only 3 issues into a standard edition trade or hardcover in the past with Bizarro World, they added things like Man of Steel #5 and then just classic stories featuring Bizarro. That's how they were able to do it. The only thing that I see missing from the previous release here are the sketches by Eric Powell and then the actual like thumbnail of the cover that he would use. So in between chapters he would put sketches. This doesn't really give much away when I talked about the Justice League, the Bizarro Justice League, but on the opposite page of the cover you would have a sketch of Bizarro, and towards the end of each of the chapters, granted there's only 3, there were sketches by Eric Powell. And none of this, by the way, none of the stuff back here, all these other reprints with Bizarro's other adventures are in the deluxe edition. On the deluxe edition you have the cover, and on the back, no sketches. And in between the chapters, or in between the issues, there are no sketches. So that's the only thing that's missing from this deluxe edition that I wish they had included. They're not in the back either. All the sketches in the back are all done by Adam Kubert. But that's it. Like I said, I wish this had been an omnibus, but if they continued this format of deluxe editions, kind of wish they had done the same with the Man of Steel, then I will continue picking them up in this format and upgrading my standard edition trade paperbacks and hardcovers. But that, as they say, is that. You can purchase this book from our sponsor, CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online source for collected editions up to 50% off retail price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on excellent packaging, so your stuff gets to you in excellent condition, and they have amazing customer service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And for all you Minties that are watching, if you're a first-time customer, don't forget to mention that Near Mint Condition sent you their way for a promotional credit on free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your source for the hottest books with deep discounts, customer service, and excellent shipping that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the page count, content, and build of this deluxe edition. Let me know in the comments down below if you've picked it up, if you've never read this run before, and if you've read it, what you thought about it. Again, does it make you upset that it didn't come with the 3D pages and the 3D glasses like the standard edition did? But anyway, leave those comments down below. Me, myself, I would have loved to have seen this in an omnibus format. I think it rightly deserves an omnibus all the way to New Krypton, but that's just me. If you have any more questions, let me know in the comments. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to check out our spread shop and our Patreon. Amazing ways to support the channel if you can do so. And more importantly, everybody, stay healthy, stay safe, and much love to all of you.